All right, welcome into episode 04 of Gasser's Garage. I'm Steve Thornton, and it is currently 68 degrees in the garage. A nice, mild, windy day in Arizona. Kind of getting that same weather that they are down in Vado, just not quite as cold up here. But the last episode we did was the High Limit International Tiers episode. Was kind of a flop. Probably due to the holidays, probably due to me not knowing much about YouTube yet, probably due to lack of promotion. I don't really know, but I didn't forget about you guys who did participate. I will be getting in touch with, probably 2 or 3 of you to show my appreciation for you watching that episode and participating in the contest. So I will find a way to get into touch with the few people that did have the best lineups from that race and that contest, and you will be getting the giveaway pack from me. So moving on to what I want to talk about today, and that is silly season. I want to kind of go over 10 of my favorite moves or announcements that have been made, and then kind of get into the fallout that has come from those announcements. The season starts in about a month in Florida with the World of Outlaws. We're winding down. Most of these teams have finalized plans. Some we're still waiting on announcements for, and others are probably scrambling to get things ready. So I'm gonna get right into it. Gonna start at number 10, work my way down to number 1. And my 10th favorite silly season move this offseason is Aaron Reutzel joining the High Limit Tour. I think this is a great addition for High Limit. I think it's the right move for RSR. Aaron Reutzel's a guy, you either love him or you hate him, but you can't argue that he brings excitement to the track. He's super talented. He's going to be in contention for wins, and he's going to be in contention to start some drama. And, honestly, that's not always a bad thing. It gets people talking about the series, it gets people talking about racing, and Aaron Reutzel is probably the top villain, if not 2 or 3 of the sport right now. Not too many guys out there that you could call a true villain, and I think Reutzel is one of those guys. So with High Limit losing McFadden, I think that Reutzel joining the tour is a great move, a great addition. Obviously the fallout from that is Corey Eliason no longer racing with RSR. He's moving on to the TKS Motorsports team, and they'll be on a pick and choose schedule, 70 races around the Midwest, a couple outlaw races, couple high limit races, couple Knoxville races, bunch of stuff that we usually see the TKS 2KS car doing, just with Corey Eliason in 2025. Number 9 on my list is Caleb Johnson joining the Dennis Gainey team DGRD, number 6K, full-time in 2025. They're going to be racing at Knoxville, they're going to be racing at Houston, and then they're going to be filling in the rest of their schedule with a ton of high limit races, a ton of World of Outlaw races, maybe some Power Eye stuff. Stuff around the Midwest. We saw Caleb and this team, make their way into Pennsylvania, raced at the World Finals at the end of the year. The results weren't fantastic, but I do think that we probably will see Caleb Johnson pick up his first career 410 sprint car win with this ride in 2025. Number 8 on my list is Cameron Key joining the Beaver 12X. Not too much fallout from this. The Beaver 12X had a couple different drivers: Carson McCarl, Ricky Peterson, Chase Randall. Cameron Key drove it a little bit last year as well. But I like the move for both sides here. I think Cameron Key deserves a shot to be racing more than 15, 20 times a year in a 410, and that's exactly what he's going to get in 2025 with the Beaver team. They're going to start in Volusia. They're going to kind of stick to, the Knoxville area, the Kansas, Missouri area with their schedule. A bunch of mixtures, Power Eye stuff, high limit stuff, World of Outlaw stuff. So Cameron Key in the Beaver 12X, that's one of my favorite moves. Number 8 on my list. Down to number 7, it's Hank Davis to the Shannon Wheatley number 45 this team will be racing on the West Coast. So it sounds like it's going to be a bunch of new tracks for Hank Davis, new everything, new car owner, new team, new engine package, because, Hank Davis ran with ASCS in the 360s. Doesn't really have much 410 experience. He ran with the Dutcher Motorsports 17 GP at Charlotte to close out the season. But other than that, I can't really say that I remember Hank Davis racing a 410 a bunch. I think Shannon Wheatley is a good car owner for Hank Davis to learn from, to get the experience, and I kind of like the decision they were making to stay on the West Coast to start the year. Run with NARC. NARC usually has about 20 to 24 guys. Hank Davis should be able to, get as many laps in as he can out there. He should be making shows with ease. The fallout from this ride is now what happens to Landon Brooks. Landon Brooks turned a lot of heads last season in this Wheatley 45 car. He made the Kings Royal. He put up some good runs against the Outlaws. I believe he had a top 10 with the Outlaws at some point. But I have not heard any news about what Landon Brooks is going to be doing. Is he going to be staying on the West Coast? Does he have something else lined up? He did fill in for Justin Cox in the Bates Hamilton Racing 42X after Cox was injured. I didn't hear anything about that ride. I'm assuming Justin Cox will be back racing that car in NARC competition. So Landon Brooks is definitely a name that to keep an eye on. I definitely think he is deserving of a decent ride. I just don't really know what's out there for him or where he'll be racing, where he wants to be racing. The Roth Motorsports second car that is apparently going to be parked or staying on the West Coast comes to mind for me. I haven't heard anything to make that valid, but it seems like it would be a pretty good fit for both sides if Roth wants to stay on the West Coast and if Landon Brooks is available out there. So not sure what Landon Brooks is going to do, but I definitely think someone should scoop him up and put him in a car, for next season. So number 6 on the list is Ryan Timms teaming up with the Liebig Motorsports team. If you haven't seen, they did put out kind of a graphic of what this car is going to look like. They've kind of talked, about a little bit about their schedule. It sounds like they're going to be racing 70, 80 times, all over the place. They're going to be doing some stuff at Houston, some stuff at Knoxville. They're going to be, running high limit, running Motor Outlaws, a true outlaw schedule for Ryan Timms and Liebig. This combination got a lot of people talking at the end of last year. Timms, was running up front with high limit. He was running up front with the Outlaws. Had a couple things go wrong where, he maybe even had a shot to win one of those races. But Timms was definitely fast in the 10. Definitely looking forward to seeing what this pairing can do. The fallout from this is Scott Boguski no longer, being in the 10, and we're going to get into where he landed in a second here. So number 5 on my list is everything that's happening with the Tarleton 21. It's Tanner Holmes for 30 races. It's James McFadden for a summer swing. I think McFadden's going to come over here in the U.S. just in time for their fastest 5 days of motorsports, where the NARC series, makes their way up through Oregon into Washington before Dirt Cup, I believe. But the James McFadden news seems like it caught everyone off guard, including myself. I was kind of just expecting that if McFadden was going to come back over here, that he would just get in the Roth car and they would run, for however long McFadden was in the States for. But sounds like it's not the case. It makes the Roth Motorsports question even more puzzling. But I think this is a great move for Tarleton. I think it's a great opportunity for Tanner Holmes to work with a new crew chief, get the experience, with an experienced team, with a bunch of guys on that Tarleton team that have been around the sport a very long time. So, a young driver like Holmes, he's been doing his own thing, and pretty impressively, he did race fill-in for Jacob Allen 2 seasons ago, and fared pretty well. So I think we can expect something similar to happen with Tanner Holmes and the Tarleton team in 2025. Number 4 is some news that I broke yesterday, and it is Scott Boguski going to the newly formed Giddings Motorsports number 78 team. I saw a lot of comments yesterday talking about, like, is this the Eikenberry 25 or what happened there? And this is a new team. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I'm not going to get into it, but this is Justin Giddings' team. He owns the Dirty Air suspension, and they're putting Scott Boguski in the car. They're going to run weekly at Knoxville, and then have 40 to 50 additional races on the schedule around the Midwest, High Limit, World of Outlaws, POWRi. Anything is kind of open there for Boguski. I really like this move. This equipment has been known to be pretty solid equipment. It's a solid ride. And Scott Boguski, probably had his best season in the States last year, won 5 races, finished top 10 at the Knoxville Nationals. I expect Boguski to be a championship contender at Knoxville in this car next season. So, number 3 on my list is Brock Zearfoss dropping off the World of Outlaws tour and getting in the Eichelberger number 8, and keeping his 3Z to fill in for a huge 90 to 100 race schedule. I think I saw, I think he's going to run the 8 at Port Royal and Williams Grove, and then when he's got time, he'll have the 3Z out there, potentially on the road or at other tracks in Central PA. I really like this move for Zearfoss because I think Zearfoss could legitimately rack up 6, 7, 8 wins next season in Central PA. He's got Shuttlesworth on the wrenches with him, and we saw how good that combination was at BAPS to close out the year. Zearfoss, dog walked the field, dominated that race, and, there was no slouches in that field. Macri, Dietrich, Schuhart, Jacob Allen, Chase Dietz, a bunch of guys were in that field, and Zearfoss won that race easily. So Brock Zearfoss, coming back home, I think it's a great decision. I think it's a great, get for Central PA and the posse, having Zearfoss back there with them. And, like I said, I think he could win quite a few races next season. Number 2 on this list is a move that I feel like kind of has flown over the radar. It was announced months ago. It was one of the first, silly season moves that we saw. And I feel like it didn't get a ton of attention. But it's Brandon Spithaler teaming up with the Barris Motorsports number 32. This is the car that we have seen Dale Blaney drive the past few years. It sounds like Dale Blaney's either scaling back. He might become a NASCAR truck hauler driver. He might be driving Dave Blaney's 10 now that Dave's done racing. Not exactly sure what's going on with Dale, but Spithaler getting in this car for 25 to 30 races. He'll still have his own 22 to fill in the rest of his schedule as well. Not 100% sure what their plans are, if they're going to be joining the All-Stars, the Fast Series, but it does sound like Spithaler has plans to start the year in Florida with the Outlaws and this 32 team. So I really like this move because I think it gives Brandon more opportunities to branch out. We usually don't see Brandon make his way down to the Knoxville Nationals or something like that, just because he's a small local team. But I think, teaming up with the Bears team might give him a chance to make his way down there and run some of these bigger races that I think he deserves a shot to run. Brandon Spithaler is back-to-back seasons with 8 wins, back-to-back seasons as the Fast Series champion. And he's certainly, I think, a very underrated driver. And, I think that, between this 32 and his own number 22, I think, we could see another 8-win season out of him, and we could, maybe see him turn some heads, against the national tour at some point. So Brandon Spithaler in the Barris Motorsports number 32, flew under the radar, and, I really like the move. So that leaves us with my favorite silly season move and number 1 on my list, and that is Chase Dietz joining the Stayman Motorsports number 23. Chase Dietz had a breakout year last year. He was one of the best posse members against the Outlaws, against High Limit. He won a few races in his own number 2D. He put up solid runs in the Zemco 1, and now that he is in the Stayman Motorsports number 23, I'm excited to see, Chase Dietz for a little bit of a bigger schedule. He typically has only run, 40 to 50 races a year, and has, remained in PA for 95% of those races. So I think, this team will probably, stay in PA for 80% of their schedule, but that other 20% that this team, has in their schedule and their budget, I'm excited for. I hope we can see Chase Dietz branch out and race a little bit more against the national tours, because I do think that Chase Dietz, is one of the best drivers in Pennsylvania, and one of the best drivers that, we've never really seen, race outside of his home area. So I think the Stayman Motorsports team definitely gives him, an opportunity and a chance to really showcase his talents, and I'm really excited for Chase Dietz next season. Kind of feels similar to him as I do about Brock Stierfoss. I think Dietz could put up 6-7 wins next year in PA if all goes well. So that's my top 10. There's been, I have a folder on Facebook, a photo album with every single silly season announcement that I have made. There's almost 40 announcements on there, so there was plenty to choose from here, but those are my top 10. So go ahead and comment below, something that you were really excited about that has happened in this off season. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to Master Gassers. That helps me out. It's completely free, and we'll see you guys next week.